The text that destroyed my marriage, my oldest friendship, and my entire social circle came at 2:47 a.m. on a random Tuesday, and it was meant for a group chat I didn't even know existed. If you've got some time and maybe a snack, settle in. This is going to be long, but every minute of it is burned into my memory. What started as a 20-year brotherhood and an 8-year marriage ended in a single group message that exposed not just an affair, but a conspiracy of silence that involved every single person I called family. I'm talking about my wife, my best friend, and 6 other people who watched me get betrayed for 2 years and said absolutely nothing. So I made sure everyone, and I mean everyone, knew exactly who they were. What happened next destroyed careers, marriages, and an entire social circle. And honestly, I'd probably do it again. Let me start at the beginning. I met Michael Torres in August 2004, first day of freshman year at UT Austin. We were random roommate assignments in Jester Hall, both small-town Texas kids completely out of our depth in the big city. He was from some tiny place near Lubbock. I was from outside Waco. We bonded over being the only 2 guys on our floor who didn't know what the hell 6th Street was, and spent our first weekend eating ramen in our dorm instead of partying. 20 years. That's how long Michael and I were brothers. Not just friends, brothers. We did everything together. Road trips to South Padre for spring break, all-nighters during finals week fueled by energy drinks and panic. My first job offer, his first real girlfriend, his first heartbreak, my promotion. When my dad died my senior year, Michael drove 4 hours to my hometown and sat with me in silence for an entire day because he knew I didn't want to talk. I just needed someone there. So when I got married in 2016, there was never a question who my best man would be. Michael stood next to me at that altar and gave a toast I still remember word for word. To James, my brother, my best friend, and to Sarah, thank you for not being intimidated by our bromance. To the family we choose. Everyone laughed. We all clinked glasses. I thought it was the happiest day of my life. The friend group, we called ourselves the crew, had been building for years by that point. Tyler and Amanda Bennett were college friends who got married a year before me. Rachel Murphy was Sarah's closest friend, an HR director with one of those infectious laughs. Kevin Grant was a corporate lawyer I met at my first job, sharp as hell and always good for legal advice. David and Laura Foster were the newer additions, married couple we'd adopted about 5 years back. And Michael, of course, the perpetual bachelor, the charming one, the guy everyone loved. We did everything together. Monthly game nights that rotated between houses, Friday happy hours at the tavern downtown, our spot, always the same corner booth, an annual camping trip to Big Bend every November that we treated like a sacred tradition. We had a group chat called The Crew that was constantly blowing up with memes, plans, stupid inside jokes. These people weren't just friends. I thought we were family. Sarah and I met through Rachel at someone's birthday party in 2014. I was 25, she was 24, and I was immediately out of my league. Sarah is beautiful, like stops conversation when she walks in beautiful. But more than that, she was fun, spontaneous. I was the structured analytical engineer who color-coded his calendar. She was the marketing manager who decided on random Tuesday nights that we should drive to Houston for concerts. She made me less boring. I made her more stable. We balanced each other, or so I thought. The first 6 years of marriage were good, normal. We both had careers we cared about, me at a tech startup, her at a boutique marketing agency. We bought a house in East Austin in 2020, a cute craftsman that needed work but had good bones. We had the group, we had our routines, we had plans. Kids eventually, but not yet. Travel first. Build our careers first. We had time. Year 7, I got promoted to senior software engineer. It was huge, better money, but also way more responsibility. I started working longer hours, 60, 70-hour weeks during our major product launch. I'd come home at 9 or 10, exhausted, and Sarah would already be asleep. Our sex life dropped off. Not dramatically, not like in movies where it's this big conversation. Just gradually, from 3 or 4 times a week to once or twice a month. I figured it was normal. We were busy. We were in our 30s. This is what marriage looked like. What I didn't notice, or didn't let myself notice, were the other changes. Sarah's phone was always face down now. She changed her passcode and said it was because of a work security thing. She started going to yoga on Tuesday and Thursday nights, a new routine she'd picked up 6 months into my promotion. She'd come home at 10, glowing and relaxed, and I'd feel guilty that I couldn't be the one making her that happy. Michael started coming over more when I was at work. Keeping Sarah company, he'd say. Someone's got to make sure she doesn't feel neglected while you're being a corporate slave. I thought it was nice. I thought it was what best friends did. There were moments, tiny moments, that pinged something in my brain, but never loudly enough. A receipt in Sarah's car for a nice restaurant downtown on a Saturday. She said it was a work lunch that got moved. I believed her. Michael making an inside joke with Sarah at game night that I didn't get, and when I asked, they both just laughed and said, "You had to be there." Where? I didn't ask. Tyler acting weird around me one night at the tavern, barely making eye contact, leaving early. I figured he was tired. He had 2 kids. He was always tired. The playlist in Sarah's car that had all these songs I'd never heard her listen to before. Love songs, bedroom songs. She said she was just exploring new music. I look back now and I see a fucking billboard. But at the time, I saw a marriage. A normal, slightly stale, been together a decade marriage. The first week of October 2024, we had our regular Friday night at the tavern. Everyone was there. Sarah sat across from me, laughing at something Kevin said. Michael was next to Tyler, arguing about football. Amanda was showing Rachel photos of her kids' Halloween costumes. Everything felt right, easy. These were my people. I remember looking around that table and thinking, I'm lucky. I had a wife I loved, a best friend I trusted completely, and 6 other people who made life good. I went home that night, had mediocre sex with Sarah for the first time in 3 weeks, and fell asleep feeling content. I had no idea that in 72 hours, I'd learned that every single person at that table was lying to me. Monday, October 7th, 2:47 a.m. My phone buzzed on the nightstand. I pulled it toward me, squinting at the screen. Group chat notification. The crew. Message from Michael. She just left. God, I needed that. Same time Thursday? I stared at it. Read it again. My brain was foggy from sleep, trying to process. She? She who? Left where? It was almost 3 a.m. Same time Thursday for what? I looked over at Sarah. She was asleep next to me, curled on her side, breathing softly. So whoever Michael was talking about, it wasn't her. Maybe he'd finally gotten a girlfriend, but why would she be leaving at 2:47 a.m. on a Monday? And why was he texting the group chat about it instead of just texting her or me or anyone individually? Something felt wrong. I couldn't articulate what, but my stomach did this little flip. I tried to go back to sleep. Couldn't. Lay there staring at the ceiling until my alarm went off at 6. By the time I got up, the message was deleted. In its place, a new message from Michael sent at 7:30 a.m. Sorry, wrong chat. Meant to send that to my brother. Ignore that. The rest of the group chat was quiet. No one had responded to the original message. No laughing emoji, no TMI dude, no get it Michael, nothing. Just that 2 a.m. message, then silence, then the correction. I texted Michael privately, all good man, glad you're seeing someone. He responded immediately, lol, yeah, nothing serious, just having some fun. I wanted to believe it, I tried to believe it, but something in my chest felt tight. Tuesday, I couldn't focus at work. I kept rereading that message in my head. She just left. God, I needed that. The phrasing was intimate, familiar, like he was talking to someone who knew the whole situation. That night, Sarah went to yoga. She'd been doing this Tuesday-Thursday thing for about 6 months now, hot yoga at a studio near downtown. She'd come home sweaty and energized, and we'd usually have a glass of wine together before bed. It was one of our routines. Except this Tuesday, I found myself checking her location on Find My Friends. We'd always shared locations, not in a controlling way, just a practical safety thing, especially in a city where traffic could be unpredictable. At 7:45 p.m., her location showed her at the yoga studio. Okay, normal. At 8:30 p.m., still at the studio. Class was usually an hour, so that tracked. At 9 p.m., her location jumped. Not to home, to West Campus, Michael's neighborhood. My hands started shaking. I stared at my phone, her little icon sitting on a street I knew very well because I'd been to Michael's apartment 100 times for game nights, for helping him move furniture, for watching football. I sat at my desk at work. I'd stayed late, as usual, and felt the floor tilt. Or she could be near there for something else, meeting a friend, getting dinner, except she'd told me she was at yoga and would be home by 10. I looked at the clock, 9:07 p.m. I made a decision. I got in my car and drove to the yoga studio, parked across the street. Her car wasn't there. The class that would have ended around 8:30, there were people leaving, going to their cars. I recognized a few from the one time I'd picked Sarah up, but no Sarah. I checked her location again, still in West Campus. I drove there. I don't know what I was planning to do. Confront her, confirm my suspicions. I parked down the block from Michael's building, far enough that she wouldn't see my car if she left, and I waited. My entire body felt like it was vibrating. My mind was racing through every explanation. Maybe Michael needed help with something. Maybe it was a surprise for me. Maybe she was... At 9:42 p.m., I saw her. Sarah walked out of Michael's building, car keys in hand, wearing the same yoga outfit she'd left the house in. She looked relaxed, happy. She got in her car and drove away. I sat there for another 10 minutes, hands gripping the steering wheel so tight my knuckles were white. She got home before me. When I walked in at 10:15, she was in the kitchen in her robe, making tea. "Hey babe, how was work?" She was smiling, genuinely smiling. "Long," I said. My voice sounded far away. "How was yoga?" "So good. I really needed it. I'm feeling way less tense." She came over and kissed me on the cheek. She smelled like his cologne. I recognized it immediately, the same one he'd worn for years, the one I'd helped him pick out for a date once. I went upstairs and threw up in the bathroom. Wednesday, I called in sick. I couldn't go to work, couldn't think, couldn't eat. Sarah left for work around 8, kissed me goodbye, told me to rest and feel better. The second her car pulled out of the driveway, I went into our home office and opened my laptop. Michael and I had set up an iCloud family plan years ago. It was cheaper to share storage, and we'd never bothered changing it. We shared photos sometimes, backed up our phones to the same account. It was convenient. I logged into the shared iCloud, went to photos. There was an album I'd never seen before. It was labeled M&S. I clicked on it. The first photo was Sarah and Michael together. At a restaurant I recognized, the same one from the receipt I'd found in her car months ago. They were leaning into each other, smiling at the camera. Sarah's hand was on his chest. I scrolled. More photos, dozens of them, hundreds. Sarah and Michael hiking. On a trip I'd thought Sarah took with Rachel. Sarah and Michael in bed together. His bed. I recognized his gray comforter. Screenshots of text messages between them, flirty messages, explicit messages, messages that made my stomach turn. Videos. I won't describe what was in them. I can't. Photos from our annual camping trip last November. I was in some of these photos, in the background, cooking by the campfire, setting up tents. And in photos taken later that same night, after I'd gone to sleep in my tent, there were photos of Sarah and Michael together in his tent. Timestamps 2 Izoad in AM, 2:30 AM. 3:15 a.m. They'd fucked 20 feet from where I was sleeping. I checked the metadata on the earliest photo. October 2022, 2 years ago, right after I got promoted and started working those insane hours. I ran to the bathroom and vomited again. This time I couldn't stop. I sat on the bathroom floor, dry heaving, until there was nothing left. Thursday, I went back through the photos with a pen and paper, documenting everything. I was numb now. Shock, maybe. The kind of calm that comes after you've cried so hard there's nothing left. That's when I saw it. In one of the screenshots of their text conversation, I could see part of another chat in the background. The name, The Crew minus James. I stared at it, read it again. The Crew minus James. There was another group chat, a secret one, without me. I found more screenshots where parts of this chat were visible. Pieced together what I could see. Rachel. I feel awful lying to him. Tyler. We've talked about this. It's not our place. Kevin. If James asks me directly, I'll tell him, but I'm not volunteering. Sarah. Thank you all for having my back. I know it's hard. The timestamp on that screenshot, June 2023. 16 months ago, they knew. All of them. Tyler, Amanda, Rachel, Kevin, David, Laura. They all fucking knew. For over a year, they'd watched Michael fuck my wife and said nothing. They'd had dinners with us, game nights, camping trips. They'd looked me in the eye, laughed at my jokes, asked how work was going, and the entire time they knew my wife was cheating on me with my best friend. I thought we were family. Friday, I made an appointment with a divorce attorney. Her name was Rebecca Morrison, and she came highly recommended. I brought my laptop, a USB drive with everything I'd downloaded, and a timeline I'd created. Rebecca looked through it for 20 minutes without saying a word. When she finally looked up, her expression was carefully neutral, but I saw something like pity in her eyes. This is very thorough, she said. I'm an engineer. I'm good at documentation. James, I'm going to be direct with you. Texas is a no-fault divorce state, which means legally the affair doesn't matter in terms of grounds for divorce. However, she tapped the folder. This evidence can absolutely impact property division. Your wife spent marital assets on this affair. Hotels, dinners, gifts. I can argue financial waste. And given the duration and the evidence, judges tend to be more favorable to the betrayed spouse. I want the house, I said, and I want this to hurt. Rebecca nodded slowly. We can make that happen. What about public exposure? Are you planning to share any of this evidence? With everyone who'll listen. Be careful. No revenge porn laws in Texas if everyone's clothed, and truth is a defense against defamation. But corporate consequences, social consequences, those can be unpredictable. Make sure you're ready for fallout. I'm ready. I wasn't sure I believed myself, but I needed to believe it. That night was our regular Friday at the tavern. I sat in our usual corner booth. Sarah was on one side of me, Michael on the other, Tyler and Amanda across from us, Rachel, Kevin, David, and Laura filling in the rest of the table. We ordered drinks, we made small talk. Kevin complained about a difficult client. Amanda showed us photos of her kids' school play. Michael made everyone laugh with some story about a sales call gone wrong. I watched all of them. Really watched them. Sarah laughed and touched my arm affectionately when I made a joke. Michael ordered my usual drink for me without asking. He knew my order by heart after 20 years. Tyler asked how my project at work was going. Rachel complimented Sarah's outfit. They were good, really good at pretending. I thought we were family. Around 9:30, I excused myself to the bathroom, stood at the sink staring at my reflection. I looked normal, tired maybe, but normal. Not like someone whose entire life was a lie. When I came back to the table, Sarah was leaning across, whispering something to Michael. They both looked up when I sat down, and Sarah immediately turned to me with a bright smile. Michael was just telling me about this new restaurant that opened. We should try it. We should, I agreed. Michael grinned. I'll text you the details. I smiled back. Can't wait. And right then, in that moment, watching my wife and my best friend smile at me while our friends looked on, I made a decision. I wasn't just going to burn down the affair. I was going to burn down the entire fucking circle. Over the next 2 weeks, I became someone I didn't recognize. Cold, methodical, strategic. I created folders on my computer, one for each person. Sarah, complete affair timeline, every photo, every video, every text screenshot, credit card statements showing she'd spent over $8,000 of our joint money on Michael over 2 years. Dinners, hotels, gifts. A weekend trip to New Orleans I'd thought she took alone for work. Receipts for lingerie I'd never seen her wear. Michael. All the same evidence plus research into his company's ethics policies. He worked in medical device sales. One of his major clients was a hospital where Sarah's marketing agency did consulting work. That connection, having an affair with a client connection's wife, was a massive conflict of interest. Tyler. I dug into public records, found out his architecture firm had just won a major city contract to redesign a public park. The contract had a morality clause, pretty standard for city projects. I also found, with some careful digging, that Tyler had been padding his billable hours on that contract. Nothing huge, but enough to matter if someone reported it. Amanda, she'd been running an unlicensed home daycare out of their house for extra income. I found her ads on local mom Facebook groups. Unlicensed daycare is illegal in Texas. Rachel, she worked in HR. Her company had strict policies about conflicts of interest and social media conduct. I found her alt Twitter account where she'd been bad-mouthing her company for months. Screenshots saved. Kevin, attorney ethics violation. He'd given Michael legal advice on how to hide the affair. I found evidence of this in Michael's text to Sarah. Kevin had also failed to report a DUI from 2 years ago to the state bar, which was required. David. His real estate license had lapsed for 2 months last year. He'd shown and sold properties during that time. That's illegal. Laura, she'd been calling in sick to work to provide alibi cover for Sarah. I had her timesheets from her hospital, semi-public record for state employees, and text messages from Sarah thanking her for covering. Every single person in that group chat had something to lose, and I had receipts for all of it. I also got help I didn't expect. A woman named Melissa Torres, Michael's ex from about 3 years ago, sent me a Facebook message out of nowhere. I heard through the grapevine that Michael might be involved with a married woman. Is it your wife? We met for coffee. Melissa was blunt. Michael has a type. Married women, the thrill, the taboo, whatever. He did it to me. I was engaged when we met. He convinced me to leave my fiancé. We dated for a year, and then he lost interest the second it wasn't forbidden anymore. I lost my fiancé, half my friend group, and a year of my life. She showed me messages, screenshots of Michael literally bragging about the conquest and the challenge of affair partners. He's a narcissist, Melissa said. This is a pattern, and I want him to face consequences. I added her evidence to my Michael folder. Sarah and I had our 8th wedding anniversary coming up on October 28th. Sarah had made a reservation at Uchi, her favorite sushi restaurant in Austin. She was excited. She'd been texting me about it for weeks. Can't wait to celebrate us, babe. 8 years down, forever to go. I love you so much. Every text made me want to scream. I decided anniversary dinner would be D-Day. I finalized the divorce papers with Rebecca, had them ready to serve, created anonymous email addresses, drafted professional factual reports to HR departments, ethics boards, licensing agencies. I had every single email ready to send. I just needed to hit send. I prepared a Dropbox folder, titled it The Truth About Sarah, Michael, and All of You, organized it into subfolders. The affair, full evidence. The crew minus James, screenshots from their secret chat. Individual receipts, a folder for each person with their specific secrets. I tested the link. Made sure everyone in the crew group chat would be able to access it. The Thursday before the anniversary, Sarah confirmed our dinner reservation. Michael texted the main group chat asking about plans for the weekend. Tyler mentioned the camping trip coming up in a few weeks. Everyone was comfortable. Everyone thought life was normal. I responded to everything warmly, positively, like everything was fine, because in 72 hours I was going to detonate a bomb. And I had no idea how big the crater would be, but I needed them to know. I needed them to understand that I wasn't powerless. That silence has consequences. That loyalty means something. I thought we were family. They were about to learn what happens when you betray family. Monday, October 28th, our 8th anniversary. I got dressed in a nice button-down shirt. Sarah wore a black dress I'd never seen before, probably new for the occasion. She looked beautiful. She was smiling, relaxed, affectionate. In the car, on the way to the restaurant, she held my hand. "I'm so glad we're doing this," she said. "I feel like we've been in such a better place lately." "Yeah," I said. "I feel like I finally see things clearly now." She smiled and squeezed my hand. We got to Uchi at 7:30. The hostess led us to our table, a nice spot by the window. Sarah ordered sake. I ordered whiskey. We looked at the menu, made small talk about work. The waiter brought our drinks. Sarah raised her glass. "To 8 amazing years," she said, "and to many more." I raised my glass. We clinked, drank. Then I reached into my jacket pocket and pulled out an envelope, slid it across the table. Sarah looked confused. "What's this?" "Open it." She set down her sake glass, opened the envelope. I watched her face as she processed what she was seeing. Divorce papers. The color drained from her face. Her hand started shaking. "James, what is this?" "I know about Michael." My voice was eerily calm. "I've known for 2 weeks. I know it's been going on for 2 years. I have photos, videos, text messages, everything." "James, I can explain." "We're done talking, Sarah. You'll be served officially tomorrow, but I wanted you to know tonight. On our anniversary. Seemed fitting." I stood up, put $200 in cash on the table, more than enough to cover the drinks and appetizers we'd ordered. Sarah was starting to cry. "Please, James, don't do this. We can work through this. I love you. It was a mistake. Check your phone in about 5 minutes." I walked out of the restaurant. My hands were shaking as I got to my car. Adrenaline was flooding my system. I sat in the driver's seat, gripping the steering wheel, forcing myself to breathe. Then I pulled out my phone and texted Michael. "We need to talk. Come to my house. Now. Emergency." He responded in 30 seconds. "On my way. What's wrong?" I drove home, got there before him, went inside and opened my laptop on the coffee table. 15 minutes later, Michael knocked on the door. I let him in. He looked worried. "James, what's going on? You scared the hell out of me." "Sit down." "What?" "Sit down." Michael sat on the couch. I sat across from him, turned my laptop to face him. On the screen, a slideshow of photos, him and Sarah, together, intimate, explicit. I watched Michael's face cycle through shock, panic, horror. "Oh, fuck, James, Shut up." My voice was ice. "I don't want to hear anything from you. You've been fucking my wife for 2 years, in my house, in my bed, while pretending to be my brother." Michael tried to stand. "James, please, sit the fuck down." He sat. "I've filed for divorce. I have evidence of everything, and in about 2 minutes, everyone else is going to know too." "Everyone? What do you mean, everyone?" "Watch." I picked up my phone, opened the group chat. The crew. Typed, "Hey everyone, I wanted to share something with the group since we're all family, right?" Sent the link to my Dropbox folder. Sent a follow-up message. "For 2 years, you all watched my wife fuck my best friend and said nothing. You had a secret group chat. You lied to my face every single day. You chose them over me. So now you get to see what I know about each of you." Hit send. My phone immediately started vibrating. Notifications flooding in. Michael's phone started buzzing too. He looked at it, face going white. The group chat was exploding. Tyler, "What the fuck?" Amanda, "Oh my God." Rachel, "James, please call me." Kevin, "This is not okay. Delete this immediately." Sarah had joined the chat. "James, please." David, "Holy shit." Laura, "Why is there a folder with my name?" And then they started turning on each other. Amanda to Tyler, "You knew? You knew for over a year and said nothing?" Tyler, "Michael, you fucking asshole." Kevin to Rachel, "You gave them advice on how to hide it and now you're apologizing." Rachel, "I'm so sorry, James. I should have told you." Sarah, "Everyone stop. James, can we please talk about this privately?" Michael in the chat, "Everyone calm down. I need to explain." Tyler, "Explain what, Michael? How you fucked our friend's wife?" I watched the messages scroll, watched them fight, watched everything implode in real time. Then I typed one final message. "I thought we were family. Turns out you were just people who liked the same bar. Sarah, you'll hear from my lawyer. Michael, lose my number. Everyone else, you chose to protect them instead of being honest with me. Now you get to live with everyone knowing what you really are. I'm out." I left the group chat, blocked every single number. Michael was still sitting on my couch, staring at his phone in shock. "Get out of my house," I said. "Give me your key." He fumbled in his pocket, pulled out his key to my house, the one I'd given him years ago so he could dog sit, water plants when we traveled, be family. He handed it to me without a word. "Get out." He left. I locked the door behind him, leaned against it, and then I started crying. Not sad tears, angry tears, relieved tears, vindicated tears. I'd done it. At midnight, I sent the emails, professional, factual, evidence attached. To Sarah's company, HR, documentation of her affair with a vendor connection, misuse of company time, ethics violation. To Michael's company, HR, same, plus conflict of interest with client relationship. To the City Ethics Board, Tyler's padded billable hours on the public contract. To the Texas Bar Association, Kevin's ethics violations. To Rachel's company, her alt Twitter account. To the Real Estate Licensing Board, David's lapsed license issue. Each email was carefully worded, no emotion, just facts and evidence. I hit send on all of them. Then I closed my laptop and went to bed. I fell asleep immediately. For the first time in 2 weeks, I didn't have nightmares. The next morning, my phone had 47 missed calls from Sarah. I didn't listen to any voicemails, just deleted them. Around 10 a.m., there was a knock on my door. I looked through the window. Sarah's car in the driveway. I opened the door but stood in the doorway, blocking entry. "James, please, we need to talk." "We have nothing to talk about. Your lawyer can talk to my lawyer." "I love you. I made a mistake. I want to fix this." "A mistake is forgetting to buy milk. You fucked my best friend for 2 years. In my house. In my bed. You don't get to call that a mistake." "James, if you don't leave, I'm calling the police. This is my house. You don't live here anymore." She started crying. Full breakdown. Mascara running down her face. I felt nothing. "Goodbye, Sarah." I closed the door, locked it, listened to her sob on my porch for 5 minutes before she finally left. By Tuesday afternoon, the dominoes were falling. Sarah's company called her in for a meeting. By Wednesday, she was placed on administrative leave pending investigation. Michael was fired on Wednesday. Ethics violation, conflict of interest. His entire career in medical device sales in Austin was over. Word spreads fast in that industry. Sarah's parents called me. They'd somehow found out. Her mom was crying. James, we're so sorry. We had no idea. If we'd known... I know, thank you. Sarah's devastated. She's staying with her sister in Houston. She's not doing well. I felt a small pang of something, not guilt, maybe sadness that it had come to this. I'm sorry she's hurting, I said, but she made her choices. Sarah's dad got on the phone. You're a good man, James. You didn't deserve this. If you need anything... I appreciate that. I really do. Her sister called me later that day. You destroyed her life. She destroyed our marriage. I just made sure people knew the truth. She loved you. Not enough. I hung up. The friend group was disintegrating in spectacular fashion. Tyler and Amanda were having the worst fight of their 10-year marriage. Amanda was furious that Tyler had known for 18 months and said nothing. You watched our friend get humiliated and you let it happen. It wasn't my place. He's your friend. Was your friend. He thought we were family. Tyler's firm was investigating the ethics board complaint. The city contract was suspended. He was facing potential termination. Kevin was livid, sent me emails threatening lawsuits. My lawyer responded, everything submitted was factual. Truth is absolute defense. We'll see you in court if you'd like. The Bar Association opened an investigation. Kevin had to hire his own attorney. Rachel's company gave her a written warning and mandatory ethics training. She sent me a long email. Pages long, apologizing, explaining, begging for forgiveness. I didn't respond. David and Laura's issues were minor professionally, but their marriage was fracturing. Laura felt they should have told me. David thought it wasn't their business. They were barely speaking, and the whole thing had leaked online. Someone, I think Rachel or Amanda, had screenshotted parts of the group chat and posted to a local Austin Facebook group. It went viral locally. Reddit threads, next-door discussions. Everyone had an opinion. The wife and best friend are trash. But did he go too far destroying everyone's careers? They all deserved it for staying silent. This is insane, but also kind of justified. Sarah and Michael were recognized in public. Sarah got harassed at the grocery store. Someone called her a whore in the checkout line. Michael deactivated all social media. I felt vindicated, satisfied, but also something else I couldn't quite name. 2 weeks after the explosion, my phone rang. Unknown number. I almost didn't answer. Hello? James, it's Amanda. I almost hung up. I know you don't want to talk to any of us. Then why are you calling? Because Tyler is in the hospital. My stomach dropped. What? He had a panic attack, a severe one. They thought it was a heart attack. He's 37 years old and he's on anxiety medication now because of the stress. Silence. The city contract is terminated. His firm is probably going to fire him. We have 2 kids, James. He fucked up. He absolutely fucked up. But did he deserve to lose his career? I felt something crack in my chest. He watched me get betrayed for 18 months and said nothing. I know, and I'm so angry at him too. But you didn't just hurt Tyler, you hurt me. You hurt our kids who love Uncle James and don't understand why you're gone. I never wanted to hurt your kids. But you did, whether you meant to or not. She hung up. I sat in silence for an hour, Tyler in a hospital bed, his kids asking where Uncle James was. Did I go too far? 3 weeks after everything exploded, I got a letter in the mail, handwritten, from Margaret Torres, Michael's mother. I'd met her a dozen times over the years. Nice woman, quiet, loved her son. The letter said, James, I don't condone what Michael did. It was unforgivable. I raised him better than that. But he's my son. He's been fired. His friends have abandoned him. His name is ruined in this city. He's depressed, not eating, not sleeping. I'm worried about him in ways I haven't been since he was a teenager. I'm not asking you to forgive him. I'm just telling you, your revenge worked. He's destroyed. I hope that brings you peace. I read it 3 times. Michael destroyed. Career gone. Friends gone. Reputation in ruins. I'd wanted that. I'd planned for that. So why did I feel sick? Therapy helped. I started going twice a week. Are you experiencing regret? My therapist asked. I don't know. I'm not sorry for exposing the affair. They deserved that. But the professional stuff, the ethics boards, the job losses, Tyler in the hospital, Michael's mom's letter. I keep thinking, did I go too far? Both things can be true, James. They wronged you deeply, and the consequences were severe. They chose to lie to me for 2 years. Yes, they did. And you chose how to respond. Neither of you can undo those choices now. I thought about that for days. I'd wanted them to hurt like I was hurting. I'd wanted them to lose something they valued, like I'd lost my marriage and my family. Mission accomplished, but the vindication felt hollow now. Months passed. The divorce was finalized in June 2025. Sarah didn't fight it. She just wanted it over. Asset split was 60-40 in my favor. My lawyer had successfully argued the financial waste angle. I kept the house. Sarah couldn't afford it on her own anyway. She moved to Houston permanently, living with her sister, working at a smaller marketing agency. I heard through distant mutual connections that she was dating someone new. Michael moved back to his hometown in West Texas, working sales for his father's company, not on social media at all. Tyler survived the ethics investigation with a censure, lost the city contract, but kept his job at the firm. His marriage survived, barely. He and Amanda were in intensive couples therapy. Kevin's bar investigation concluded with a formal censure on his record. He wasn't suspended, but the stain would follow him. Rachel kept her job after the ethics training, lost her friendship with Sarah, dating someone new, posted on Instagram about choosing growth. David and Laura moved to Dallas, needed a fresh start away from the drama. The crew was completely dissolved. No one talked to anyone, and me, I was alone. It took me a while to realize how lonely I was. Work, home, work, home. That was my life. I had no friends, no social circle, no one to text about stupid memes or make plans with on Friday nights. I tried reaching out to some old college friends who hadn't been part of the crew. The conversations were awkward. Hey man, long time no see. Want to grab a beer? Sure. How have you been? Oh, got divorced. Destroyed my entire friend group. Living the dream. It's hard to make friends at 35. I joined a recreational basketball league through work. Met a guy named Eric, 39, divorced dad, engineer like me. We started grabbing beers after games. He didn't know my story at first. We just talked about normal stuff. Work, sports, weather. It felt good, uncomplicated. Eventually I told him a condensed version. He listened without judgment. That's brutal, man. I get it, though. You do? My ex cheated too. Different circumstances, but yeah, the betrayal is the same. First real friend I'd made in months. Work helped. I threw myself into it like before, but this time it was healthy. Strategic. I got promoted to senior architect in March, leading a small team, new challenges, new purpose. For the first time since the explosion, I felt proud of something. This was my accomplishment, not shared, not tainted. Eric convinced me to try dating in April. I'm not ready. You don't have to be ready. Just practice talking to women again. I made a dating app profile, went on some truly awful dates, then met Sophia, 33, graphic designer, easy to talk to, Coffee turned into dinner, turned into a few more dates. I was honest. I'm freshly divorced. It was bad. I'm not looking for anything serious. Me neither. Just got out of something messy myself. We kept it light, casual, but it was nice. Feeling attraction again, laughing with someone, imagining possibility. 1 year later, November 2025, I was in a coffee shop near my office when I saw Rachel. She saw me at the same time. We both froze. She walked over. I didn't stop her. "Hi, James." "Rachel." "I'm not going to bother you. I just wanted to say I'm sorry. Truly. I think about it all the time. About what I should have done differently. You should have told me." "I know. I chose wrong. I chose Sarah's confidence over your right to know the truth. And I lost most of my friends because of it, which I deserved." I studied her face. She looked different, older, tired. "For what it's worth," I said, "I don't think any of us were good friends to each other. We just existed in the same space." "Maybe you're right." She left. I sat there with my coffee getting cold. I didn't feel anger. I didn't feel forgiveness either. Just closure. That night I sat in my house now, redecorated, repainted, mine, and thought about the past year. What I'd learned, loyalty isn't just proximity. It's not Friday happy hours and group texts. It's honesty when honesty is hard. It's choosing to do right even when it's uncomfortable. Silence is complicity. Every person who knew about the affair and said nothing made a choice. They chose Sarah and Michael over me. They chose their comfort over my dignity. Revenge gave me control when I felt powerless. And I'd needed that. Needed to feel like I had agency in my own destruction. But it didn't heal me. Time did. Work did. Therapy did. Building a new life did. I'm not the same person I was. I don't trust as easily. Maybe that's good. Maybe that's sad. Probably both. I have a smaller circle now. Eric, a couple guys from basketball, a coworker I genuinely like. Sophia, who might become something more serious. It's smaller, quieter, but it's more real. These people have earned their place in my life. They show up. They're honest. They don't have secret group chats without me. Do I regret what I did? The exposure? The group chat bomb? No. Do I regret the professional destruction? The ethics board complaints? The anonymous emails? Sometimes. Late at night, when I think about Tyler in a hospital bed or Michael's mom's letter, I don't know if I'd do it again. Not because it was wrong, I'm still not sure it was, but because I don't need to anymore. I'm not that powerless, betrayed person anymore. I'm building something new, slowly, carefully. I thought we were family. Turns out family is something you build with people who actually give a damn. I'm building that now, with people who've earned it, and this time I'll know the difference.